Next one can be tethered oral tissue known as TOTS, which is your tongue and lip ties and buccal ties and things like that. Now, the tongue tie, depending on what's going on. Now, there's many different things. There's some people who just say, "Oh, there's a tongue tie, let's cut it. There's a lip tie, let's cut it." My approach is a little different. It all depends on what's going on. I'm actually doing some more advanced training in this to understand a little bit better of when we should and shouldn't and what's the purpose behind it and those things. I'm very well trained in understanding what are the effects of having a tongue and lip tie. What does it do structurally? What does it do neurologically? Because it does play a role neurologically. It can make the nervous system a little more oversensory, sensitive issues. It can affect, there's a whole plethora of things of what it can do. But for this episode, I just want to share that these are some of the reasons why we'll see that. It could be because if you have an anterior tongue tie, you can't lift your tongue up properly. All right. If you have a posterior tongue tie, going back and forth becomes an issue. If there's specific lip ties that are happening, again, there's a suction issue that could be happening. If you got a narrow palate or a high palate or narrow and high palate for the kiddo, those can mimic tongue ties too. So there's all these variables that come into this, and it's approaching it in a certain way and looking at it from a systematic approach. The third thing could be ancestral shifts. Now, what this believes is this is like when babies, I'm a big component of solid starts. It's a program that you can do, and it tells you how your child should eat. It's not about going mushy first and then going this way. It's about giving them food and letting them develop their gag reflex better and help them develop their jaw, their tongue positioning. Because when they put the food in their mouth, most of the time a baby at 6 months, when you give them food, they're going to push it out. They have a reflex that naturally their tongue will push things out. That's eventually going to break down, and then they'll start to play with the food in their mouth. So it becomes a sensory experience. Now, parents are sometimes like, this is a messy, right? Even if you do the soft food method, it's going to be a mess. It's just going to be a mess. You have to prepare for it. I remember when we put our first daughter through this, it was just like a cleaning up. We had a dog. He was very happy about that episode, going through that. My second's going through this, going to be going through that next month. And so it's the thing of, though, developing that from a neurosensory perspective, helping them get adapted, stimulating all the different senses on the tongue. There's all this stuff that plays a massive role in a feedback system to the brain. Because remember, I said the tongue is not just a muscle; it's a it's a neurological component to the body. And there's other things to it also that things like the fascial lanes. I won't get into too much on there. But coming back to the point of the neurological aspect, getting into not having soft foods and letting them build up because you're not putting stress on the jaw and developing things as well. So this is another factor that we're seeing in modern society that we're shifting.